Hi there, so just beating Lyon 2-0 in our final game of pre-season. Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, good game. Solid performance, I think. Some nice chances, everything like that. Still a bit of rust there, but I think if we carry on the way we're moving, it should be a good season.
Same as well. It was good to get some match fitness for a couple of the guys, especially those like Saka, Rice, everyone who was playing in the Euros. It looked good to see the attacking play is still there. We still need a couple of games to get our sharpness back, but I'm confident that in a couple of games' time we'll be back flying.
Yeah, we saw goals for our centre-backs today. We saw all through last season how good we are on set pieces. Again, today scoring from the set piece as well. Really important part of our play.
Absolutely, and it's good to get goals from everywhere, considering how we don't really have like a proper clinical striker. But to have like Gabriel, Saliba getting on the score sheet today, really encouraging. And it was always encouraging to see like our new signing, Calafiori, starting as well. So looking forward to seeing what our back line is going to do, especially on the goals front.
Yeah, he seems a versatile player. We saw when he came on, as substitute was left back at the start, and then when we made some more changes, he went to centre back. So again, another versatile player, which is great to have.
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely he looks like he was ready to get stuck in, which is, I think, is really important. Somebody that's ready to contribute as soon as they start playing. No really sort of like easing period. It didn't look like he wanted to ease in. It looked like he just wanted to get stuck in, which we need. We need players that are ready to just hit the ground running, because this season is going to be a long season. We're going to have many games, so it's important that all the players just have that right mentality, and it looks like he definitely has that. So, I mean, if he didn't, the manager wouldn't have bought him. So, yeah.
He looks a big, tall, strong player as well.
Yeah, size has always been important for us. You can see with Rice, with Havertz, with Saliba and Gabriel, height is going to be really important, especially in those physical games. You know, they seem to be really beneficial to us last season, especially when it came to this time of the season where we had to really fight. So having a Calafiori, you know, kind of add complement to the height in the team, you know, means we're going to be even more stronger going into those big games next season.
Yeah, so just wanted to ask you your thoughts on pre-season overall. So it is only pre-season, but we won our 2 games here at the Emirates Cup. Out in America, we beat Man United, drew with Bournemouth, did lose to Liverpool. What's your thoughts overall on how the pre-season's gone?
Very encouraging. Regardless of whether we won, lost or drew, you know, pre-season's always more about the fitness and the match quality rather than the actual result. But to see that the guys, especially some of the fringe players, kind of came in and really performed, you know, it was really encouraging to see. And what we'd want to see next season, a bit more rotation. Like obviously we relied heavily on some key players last season, but to have some players performing during the pre-season really well might give Arteta that confidence to play some of the fringe players in the early stages of the season or even the later stages of the season. So pre-season overall, I'd give it a B+.
Yeah, I think good overall. It's good for the fitness. It's good for the team chemistry. It's important that the team gel this season, because I feel like we need to go one step further and actually win the title. We need to. I feel like we need to. I feel like City, whether they're going to admit it or not, I feel like it's getting a bit draining on them. I feel like they're getting tired mentally to keep going and going and going when you have a team who's hungry for it as well. We just need to show this season we're more hungrier. In general, in terms of the pre-season in general though, I feel like, as I said, fitness was good. We're gelling, we're getting used to things. I feel like there still needs to be a bit more sort of flexibility in the way we play. We don't want to get found out too much. So I'd like to see a bit more adaptability with certain players as well. I feel like someone like Martinelli, for example, this season it needs to be a big season for him, because Trossard was able to contribute a lot last season, and Martinelli the season before, but not quite last season. So me personally, I need Martinelli to step up this season. I need it, because I know he's got that ability, and I need him to show it. Saka does it week in, week out. I need Martinelli to do the same. I want to see him starting games and playing an important contribution. The same with Jesus as well. Jesus, the return wasn't good enough. I need to see more. Jesus, minimum 10-goal season from you. I need a minimum 10-goal season from you, Jesus. But yeah, excited, and pre-season is a good start. So I'm just hoping for good things. I'm praying for good things. Yeah.
Okay, and what's your thoughts on the transfer window overall? So it's been a quiet one. It's been a quiet one for a lot of teams. I think this financial fair play is really having a big effect. We're not sure what's going to happen. There's still a while to go to the window closes. But what's your thoughts overall so far?
Regardless of the activity in the transfers, I'm really confident first of all in our squad. to be fair, we'd be buying just for buying's sake if we were trying to buy 3 or 4 players. I trust Arteta's transfer policy and Eddie's transfer policy, obviously. Bringing in Calafiori to add some steel at the back is so important. We've been linked with Marino, which would be so super for the midfield. But in general, I'm confident there's still a few more days left in the transfer window. For those who can remember, in 2003, 2004, the only signing we made was Jens Lehmann, and then we went unbeaten. Sometimes less is more. So I'm trusting what Arteta's going to do. I'm trusting what the transfer market is going to look like at the end of the season. And maybe we'll get a couple deals. Obviously, we might lose a couple players. But most importantly is that the team chemistry remains the same and we can just kick on and win some trophies next season.
Yeah, I would say so. I think I echo what my friend here is saying. I would say more than anything, it's about what we can add to the team to take us over the line. It's not so much about just buying players for the sake of buying players. It's who we're going to add that's going to help us get over the line and finally clinch that title and compete even in Champions League as well. Champions League, I feel like we were so close to actually doing something, but it's like that one, not being in Europe for a while in the Premier competition and then coming back. There's a little bit of experience we've gained from last season. So I think this season, we can use that now. We can push ourselves a bit more. But in terms of actual signings, like Calafiori is a great signing, something we need for the depth. I know people are a bit sort of when it comes to more defensive, but as we've seen, I feel like our defensive sort of adaptability helped us a lot last season. So adding someone else to just further strengthen that and solidify that is great. I think in terms of other side of midfield, Moreno will be great, fantastic. He's somebody that's really physical. We know Arteta loves that profile, but also he has some really good sort of like technical security and ability, which once again we need. We really, really need it. So that would be really good. So obviously people will say about the striker thing. For me personally, we just need a forward. We need to get some players out. There's some players I love, like the Arsenal boys through and through, but we need more to add to what we had to take us over the line. So I guess people like Eddie and Nketiah, people like Reece Nelson, they need to go and play as well. So we need to bring players in that are going to contribute. Have all your different sort of like your links with your different signings. I couldn't tell you who because I feel like this guy, Arsenal have kept their transfer plans under wraps this season. So, or this summer I should say. So I don't know who they're going to go for. It could be Osimhen, could be Gyökeres, I don't know. But, well, we'll see what happens. Whoever Arteta adds to this team will definitely come to help us. Will make a real big impact and to do something this season, I believe anyway. But yeah.
Okay, so just looking at next week's game against Wolverhampton, it's showtime, season about to start. Arteta's got some big calls to make in terms of the starting lineup. Who would you go for your starting lineup?
I think it'd go for tried and tested next week. I think the back four is pretty much solidified. I think it's good to get Zinchenko, Partey, maybe even Havertz get there for 4 or 5 games in at the start of the season. Because if we are bringing in some more players, especially Calafiori starting, maybe Timber starting, get that sort of familiarity at the start of the season. Just get the win in. We don't want to rely too much on trying to find the chemistry with some of the new players. So standard starting 11, maybe Martinelli starting ahead of Trossard, and maybe a comfortable 2-3-0 win. A clean sheet is so important to us these days. So I think if we get like a 2-0 win, I'm happy with that. And then maybe as we progress throughout the season, maybe after the international break, we can start bringing in some of the other players and new signings if we do make any more.
Yeah, I would say that. I'll say the back four pretty much picks itself. So obviously you have Ryan Goal, you're going to have Ben White, you're going to have Saliba, you're going to have Gabriel, and you're probably going to, I think he's going to start with Zinchenko. I think Calafiori, fitness maybe is not quite there for him to throw him into a Premier League game like that after not really starting any sort of pre-season games. Obviously, probably going to have in your midfield, you're going to have probably Rice, probably going to be Partey, I think, and then Ødegaard, going to have Saka on the right. I would say Martinelli, but it could be a toss-up between Martinelli and Trossard. Trossard also started some games, so it could vary, but I think maybe Martinelli. Then obviously up top, I think he's probably, because it's Wolves, I think he may go with Havertz. However, I wouldn't be shocked if he went with Jesus and then he played Havertz in the midfield. But first game of the season, I think he might, as my friends, I think he might go for tried and tested. So I'll probably see Havertz probably starting up top if I'm honest. And not to mention Jesus as well. I don't know if he's come back quite firing fit. And Havertz came, the back of last season, came off very, very well. Playing in the Euros and everything like that. He played through all the games basically. So I think he's come back and he's looked like the Havertz of last season. Just need him to be a bit sharp with his shooting, I would say. But yeah, I pretty much say it'll be a similar team to the end of last season. I think will come in. and play. That's what I think.
Okay, just one last thing. Give me your top 4 for next season.
I think if I'm being, totally unbiased here, I'd say Arsenal top. But top 4, I think Liverpool are going to surprise some teams. I think they're going to come back strong. I think second. Liverpool, I think Arne Slot is a good coach. I think he's going to be someone who's going to rely on coaching of the players rather than bringing in new signings, and he could surprise us. I think third place, I think City, this might be the Pep farewell tour that everyone's been praying for. I think players like De Bruyne might start to lose steam. This might be the season where they start to realise that they've got to make some big wholesale changes. And fourth place, it's a tricky one. It's quite tight there. I don't know if Villa can repeat their heroics from last season. It pains me to say it, but I think United might be quiet. I think they're trying to copy the Arsenal style of rip up the plan, start again, start young. And I think that optimism that was missing a couple of seasons ago is going to return to Old Trafford, and they might get 4th place. But if they finish 5th, 6th, or 18th, I'm more than happy.
I would say, I'm going to be once again biased. I'm going to say Arsenal top. I'm going to say, just because of the familiarity, I would say City second, because they're always going to be there or thereabouts. I would say Liverpool third. And for my 4th place, I'm actually going to say, even though Emery's my enemy, I'm joking. But no, I would say Aston Villa, depending on how they do. So if it looks like they can maintain it, I think they'll get 4th. However, if they get knocked out of Champions League quite early, I think they'll get 4th. I think the Champions League will be a big indication and how they adapt to it. But I would say, I'll say my top 4 will be Arsenal, then City, then I'm going to say Liverpool, then I'm going to say Aston Villa.